Yes. So what I'll do is I'll have them introduce themselves, and then I'll kick us off with one question. And then after that, we'll turn to you all. So please get your questions ready, and let's get started.
Hi, I'm Shima Katouzian. I'm a content creator, writer, and founder of Bodo Makeup, and my content is makeup and skincare. However, I don't talk about makeup when I do the makeup, I tell stories.
Hi, I'm McCall Mirabella. I'm a content creator across all platforms, but I love long-form YouTube. I post on YouTube long-form anywhere between 1 to 3 times a week. I love talking. I love documenting my life, whether I'm going skydiving or going to a Taylor Swift concert, or I just went through a breakup. It is all online, and I feel very connected to my audience and have prioritized a meaningful relationship with them.
What's up, everybody? My name's Chaz Smith. I have been on social media for like 12, 13 years now. I started on Vine. I like creating content that just makes people laugh and has high entertainment value, but I really enjoy creating more just more challenging types of content as well. What I mean by that is like 2 of my favorite brand deals that I've done were with Old Spice, where I got to produce a full music video for their channel, and with Nerf, where I made like a GTA style video. It was a whole lot of fun. But yeah, I just really enjoy bringing joy to other people. So nice to meet you all.
Yay. So one of the things I do at CreatorIQ is I write the State of Creator Marketing Report. This year we surveyed 300 creators, and 98% of them had advice or feedback for brands on how they can do partnerships better. So I wanted to kick us off by asking you all, what's one piece of advice you have for brands on how to improve creator relationships?
Do I start?
Yeah, you can start.
I personally love when my partnerships is a little long-term, minimum of 3 months, because that creates a little more of reminder, either if it's the same product or even the same brand. I love to keep talking about it. Imagine if I post about the brand once in a month. It's reminding, like it's like people would, it creates conversation, people will ask questions. Oh, how the serum that you introduced a month ago is working for you now. And I can actually talk about it because I have the partnership going. And I also love it when I work with brands that they reach out to me when they see me using their products, because I always use my PR packages. I'm not that kind of person who'd be like, oh, they're not paying me, I'm not posting that. No, I use it, I post it, I tag it. If it's fine, I even share my affiliate links on Amazon, Sephora, or anywhere else. And I make my money even before they come to me for the partnership, but when they do, they know that they're working with someone who actually uses and loves their product.
Amazing.
I think most creators or every creator would agree that we are doing our biggest dream. Like, social media is our biggest dream, and we feel so grateful to be doing it. And brands are the reason that we're able to. And so I think that there's a lot of gratitude on both ends. And I love building a good relationship with the brands. And my advice would be really allowing creators to share their personal testimony. Because as someone who's like always sharing about my life, they want to hear about my life. And I think everyone here would say that we all consume social media. And so what happens when we see an ad? We skip or we scroll. But when I'm able to really share how a product or an experience is really impacting my life, or like what I got from it, that is what my audience is going to be entertained by. And I think creators really do have a superpower of taking your talking points and then applying it to their life.
Love that.
Yeah. To go off of that, it's like somewhat on a tangent. A lot of feedback I've heard from brands or things I hear creators say is that they want creative control and freedom. And I've said that before myself, but I think what really is needed is creative alignment. And what I mean by that, it just sounds like another buzzword, but if you think about it, can any of you name a single relationship in your life, or think of a marriage where one person is in control of the relationship, or one person is just like, oh, I'm just gonna be free and do whatever I want? Never works. When the brand partnerships that have worked the best for me are when the brand knows exactly who they are and what they want, I know exactly who I am and what I want, and we figure out how to come together in harmony with that. So creative briefs are so important for me. Sometimes I think it's great if we can build them together in order to create something that I know my audience would enjoy anyway. The types of content I like to create with brands are things that oh, I would make this video regardless of whether it was going to be a brand deal or not. It just so happens to have a brand product in there. And that's when I see comments like, oh man, this doesn't even feel like an ad. Oh man, I'll watch this anyway. This is so dope. Like that, it's been a very consistent thing. So I found that to be most important and valuable.
Yeah, I love the idea of moving from creative control to creative alignment, because I think that's such a beautiful thing, and talking about what it takes for a relationship to function is so key. And then moving it over to you all, what questions do we have? And we have stage managers who will come to you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Bilal Lakhani from Pfizer. One of the things that I want to talk about is your experience working with brands that operate in regulated industries. So we operate in healthcare, and just curious if you've had experience in healthcare or finance, which are more regulated, and how you balance creativity in sort of more of a regulated space.
So I don't know if this is going to completely align, but one of my most viral YouTube video is that I quit my nicotine addiction. And I worked with Truth Initiative, which is a nonprofit, and there's like a lot of legalities with like a nonprofit. And we were able to come together, and something I just adore working with them. We would get on calls, and like they would say, this is what we need, this is what we can and can't do. And I had a full understanding of like where kind of the box was. And then I was able to like make a lot of content in that. And so we came together and we made a free quit program, like a 30-day quit program with my following, and we got 4,000 people to sign up and join a Discord for 30 days where we were doing it together. So if there's a creator that you want to work with, I think even just hopping on a call and being like, hey, so we like love what you're doing, this is what we can and can't do, and then as you know, like the creator, our job is to entertain, I think their gears will start working on like how they can really work with you.
Yeah, I like the idea of putting a box around it, but not so that you're boxed in, but so that you know what the guardrails are up front, and it allows for like less like room for weird communication. Yeah.
For me personally, I don't really do healthcare in a sense of my content because that's not my niche. I would love to keep up with like the way that I do things. However, because I post about my lifestyle, the question is always there. How are you drinking but you still have your abs? How are you, like, questions that are real. Girls would ask those questions, especially like, oh, how do you not get any pimples? Or they remember my face and my skin like a year ago, and then they would ask like how your birth control, like taking or not taking, would affect your routine, your skincare. And I always like answer those questions in a sense of like posting a video and talking about it. And those videos are usually my most viewed videos. And that's how I know that people actually care. But for me, it's not like me doing a partnership with a brand unless they know that this aligns with my lifestyle and the conversation that I have going with my audience. Because otherwise, I would never just like post. I mean, I'm saying never is probably not a cool thing to say, but it's just not the way that my partnerships are going. For me, just to post like something and be like, oh, this is like the hair pill that I'm taking. That's how my hair is like shiny. No. But if they ask me like, hey, like I remember that your lashes like were not as grown as it is right now, what have you been using? Then I would absolutely like talk about what I've been using. So it's always about the conversation, not me just coming out there and like talking about it. I hope it helps.
Yeah, I think they gave great answers, but to just reiterate what McCall said is, I think for something as important as a healthcare brand like this, it's more serious tone. So I think authenticity really across the board is extremely important, but I think even more so for the types of creators you would work with.
What other questions do we have? It looks like there's one over here on that side. Oh.
Far away as possible. Mike Radlick, Norwegian Cruise Line. You guys are talking about long-term partnerships, and it's something I think every brand wants, right, with creators, especially nowadays. Can you talk a little bit about how you structure those and kind of, I know you're saying 3-month deal. Do you guys work with, in 3 months, we'll do 4 deliverables, or is it more open-ended? I'd love to hear more about different ways we can structure those with you guys.
Should I answer? Yeah, absolutely. Mine is usually because that's how I navigate the conversation when the partnership request comes in, because I know that that works a lot better with my audience as well. Usually it's deliverable like based on each month. So it's like equal each month, but like going for 3 months. Like one video cross-posted on Instagram and TikTok and some story frames that is a reminder with links and keeping the conversation going, because I have so many people who watch my stories even like more engaged compared to what I post on my feed. And I also have some people who only watch what I post on my feed. So it's always stories going with what I post. And usually the deliverables, yes, it's like the same thing for once a month. So one video being cross-posted and 5 story frames. I mean, if they want more than that, we could always like negotiate that too. But usually it's like the same once a month.
Yeah, usually it's like a contract for like 6 months or 3 months. And something I love in a long-term brand partnership is doing a series, like incorporating a brand in a series. And you know, when I did the nicotine stuff, it became a series with my audience on like how to quit. And then I'm a really big Taylor Swift fan. And so last year, I went to the last 5 cities of the Eras Tour, and I went to a show in each city. And I worked with recurring brands on those shows, whether it was travel, how am I getting there, where am I staying, what makeup am I wearing, where's my outfit from? And that series got 80 million views across platforms because people love a storyline. And so when you incorporate your brand into a storyline, it's gonna like leave an impact on the audience, and you're probably gonna catch the same viewer more than once, which I saw a statistic, I don't know if it's true, but usually it takes people like 7 times to see something before they buy it. And so I think like if the same person's gonna tune into that series, then they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's still using this, she's still flying with this airline, and then like the brands become part of that experience, like part of the Taylor Swift concert, part of my excitement.
Yeah, I'd just say figuring out a way to set up expectations up front while still having room to be flexible for change along the way. I think that, yeah, the creative brief, I heard earlier somebody mentioned that there are creators who don't read briefs. That's crazy to me. That is, like, I think having these types of expectations, knowing boundaries, knowing what is needed, but still for like a longer term partnership, recognizing like, oh wait, this is working, this video worked a little better, let's pivot in this direction. Just having the freedom to do that and understanding that things can change. Very important.
Great, and we have some more questions. Okay, we'll come back around later.
Hi, I'm Liz from Moose Toys, and we like to focus on audiences, not ages. And you would be surprised at where we put toys and the type of creators that we work with across all different types of content. So I love what you all are seeing, and I recognize that about the conversation with your audience, that authenticity, long-term partnerships, and really strong briefs. But how can a brand pitch you when at the first glance you're like, ooh, this is not my jam? How could I pitch you because I see success when I have unexpected placement? So how can I make it more appealing to you as a creator?
Great question. Oh, yeah. Okay. What's going on? Yeah. Give me a moment. Just put me on the spot. Appreciate it.
McCall.
Oh,
okay, go ahead.
yeah. I'd say the most important. I mentioned this briefly earlier, but the most important thing for me when I'm working with a brand is being able to create content that I know my audience would enjoy anyway, or I know that I would create anyway. So I think the best way to approach would be first having an understanding of what style of creator you're looking for or wanting to work with. Like what is the heart of their content? What do you see their audience engage with the most? And then being able to communicate to them why you think that it would be aligned. Because I think that's a pretty simple answer. I'm not going to be long-winded about it. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. Is that solid? Don't put me on the spot again.
I love that question. I love hearing from a brand that you reach out to creators that like you see something in. And I think when you reach out, and you might already be doing this, but saying like, hey, I saw your Get Ready With Me video, and like I just loved what you did there. And like telling them exactly what you loved. Like then when they create that concept, they can find ways to incorporate you. Or like, hey, I loved in that YouTube vlog where you like got home from the concert and you're just like debriefing in bed. It's like maybe I can have a stuffed animal there, or like be playing with slime, or like, okay guys, like I'm waiting for the concert to start. We don't have anything to do. I'm gonna play this game, you know? And so if you tell them exactly what you love, and even like giving them maybe an example, you know, be like, I think we could be put in here, and then maybe get their gears to start turning as well. But I think that's really encouraging to hear as a creator, that like you reach out to creators that you see, like that you have been keep up with their content.
I have a question. Did you ask that question pitching as an agency or the brand? Brand, okay. So I personally am very connected with the brands I work with, because I try to attend every single event that I'm invited to. And when I go there, I treat it as a business meeting. I would go there and I would try to meet the rep and know their name and get connected and talk about myself. And usually, like 99% of the time, obviously they know me, and it starts with questions. The conversation is going, hey Shima, how are you doing? I saw you were in Vegas, how was it? It's like, they know because we are following each other. And if we are not, I would start a conversation, because I'm a very social person. Oh, I love talking about myself, and I do that. And they also like that I'm comfortable talking about myself, so they bring it up. So that creates a conversation. That's how we know each other. And when we know each other, when we talk like via email or like seeing each other at the events, they know how they can pitch the product to me. They know that I'm not a person who puts like lashes on. I always put mascara on. So they would pitch me with a mascara. Shima, you have long lashes and you always put mascara. I would love to work with you with our new mascara campaign that we have next month. Love that. And the agreement comes in like in a week, and we talk about it. So it's all about meeting them in person. I don't believe in working with brands virtually. Yes, it happens sometimes. They just have agencies to reach out, but they definitely have people on their team who know me, who watch my content, who know how I talk and how I get the conversation going. So usually I feel like it falls on the brand to know how to pitch with the talent that they want to work with, because it happens sometimes that I go to events and the rep is not there to say hi. The rep is not there to introduce themselves, to know who walked in. And that's not okay. And I stopped working with brands to do that. I'm like, I'm sorry, but marketing is like the heart of your business. You cannot just like go weak on that and just not caring that the people who come in, they're the people who are selling your products. So you have to show up, you have to do your job, and you have to know like, what kind of talent is walking in, how old they are. If I am 35 and I am dealing with like grays coming out, then I would love to work with your product that's like helping with like covering the grays. Why not? If you know that, then you know what kind of product works with me, and that's how you pitch it, and the conversation goes very smooth and fast.
Yeah, I think it's also important for brands to move from niches to thinking about the style of the creator or how a creator makes you feel, and that's another effective way to think about it. I want to give this side of the audience some love, yeah.
Hey, I'm Jesse with NVIDIA. Just a question, McCall, you mentioned Discord earlier. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts about third spaces. So whether it's Patreon, whether it's Discord, or other places where you're more working on building community and engaging your most deepest engaged creator or audience members, and your thoughts about how brands can incorporate content with them.
Well, I think like the relationship you have with your followers is everything. So I talk to my audience every single day, whether it's in DMs, comment sections. I know their names. When I go to concerts, I meet them in person. We have like nicknames for each other, and so that relationship is everything. So yeah, we utilize Discord to have like a group chat where like I could be talking literally to them, like it kind of like it felt like iMessage, you know. And I thought that was really beautiful. And then when I talked about Truth, it was like really, which is the company I worked with when I quit vaping. When I was talking about Truth Initiative in the Discord, it was like really, it was like an intimate conversation, like in a really beautiful way. And I think you know, so with Patreon, I think brands could utilize working with a creator's Patreon. I will say a lot of creators, the promise, like with the Patreon, is that there won't be any ads. So like that would be interesting to navigate with the creator. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if you had a creator that would take a brand deal on Patreon, then you would be dealing with like their most diehard fan base who's willing to pay every month. So like that would be pretty stellar. I just think that is one of the selling points, is that there won't be any ads.
My engagement with an audience is like a toxic relationship with your boyfriend. It's like they know everything about me. And it happens. Like, I'm telling you the truth. Like, my engagement is like so high, the number is so high that it almost looks fake to so many brands. They're like, is it real? I'm like, yeah, read the comments. And if I post like it happened, like I posted a picture with one of my gay friends. They're like, oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy you're going out with? I'm like, no, he's not my boyfriend. So this is how close we are when I post my content, when I have the conversation with my audience. So however, when I work with brands, I use their products even on posts that they did not pay me to post, only because I truly love the products if I'm doing an ad with them. Yeah, this is how I make my money. And I tell them too, I'm like, guys, this is how I make my money, so I got paid to post about this, but look at my video last week. I've been using this serum like for 2 weeks. You look at like the tags. You can see that I'm wearing it, that I'm using it, that it actually works. Because I love doing that. Otherwise, they will never trust me. And I built this trust so hard. Like, it took me a long time to build this engagement and this trust. I would not lose it with any price. Like, no brand can pay me nothing for me to lose that trust for any cost. So I would use the product, I would keep the engagement going, and I will let them to just control me and keep me grounded.
We probably have time for about one more question.
Hi, thanks for your time today. I'm Jasmine, I'm with IMDb. So my question is, you guys were speaking so well earlier about how giving you creative freedom in order for content to perform well, big advocate of that. So how do you sort of respond when you are given creative freedom, but then the content still doesn't perform well or still doesn't resonate with your audience? What sort of takeaways do you take from that? How do you learn from that, especially if a brand sort of likes working with you, wants to even continue working with you, but even when you're given creative freedom, the content still didn't perform well?
I think that happens most often when the creator is focusing on the campaign more than the content itself. There are times when, at times when that's happened with like brand deals that I've done, I've noticed, oh, this is because I'm, for lack of a better phrase, trying too hard to get the messaging across rather than just sharing or like being authentic, creating the content that I normally would, that my audience typically engages with. So when that happens, it requires like a reevaluation of, okay, let's look back at where we might have went wrong, where we might have been misaligned. Is this because and I think most often it's on the creator for not creating the typical content that they try to do, but also wondering like, all right, was this a solid brand partnership in the first place? Was this actually something that was a good fit, or do we choose this partnership for other reasons? I think, just sometimes, the algorithm might have something to do with it, but it's never good to place metrics on just timing. I think, upfront, really just making sure like, okay, are we aligned? Is this a good match? And then in retrospect, where did we go wrong? Was it maybe it was the goal of the campaign itself. Was it too salesy? Just like they were saying, the best content is always just authentic and easily connected to the audience. Does that help? Cool.
Yeah, this happened to me in the past, and something I've learned and how I've changed my process is it goes back to personal testimony. So I noticed that I did a brand deal and I was kind of just hitting the talking points, and I wasn't doing my job of actually giving the personal testimony, why do I want to fly this airline? Why do I want to use this skincare product? And how can I relate it to my audience? And with a lot of my brand deals, we have a script pre-approved because sometimes it's when I'm at a concert, and that's something that we just simply cannot refilm. So we want everyone to be on the same page. And that's really helpful. So you know exactly what you're going to get as a brand and what you're going to say as a creator. And in there, I can really say, pinpoint exactly why I was using something or doing something. And again, tying it to the experience, saying it at the arena, or when I'm putting on my makeup, or when I'm about to go skydiving. When you give the audience something to, like an emotion to tie the experience or product to, that's where I've seen content win. So when I made the adjustment of personal testimony, I think it was a game changer in my brand deals. And as a brand, if you are someone who does pre-approved scripts, if you read through a script and you're like, oh, we're kind of lacking, like, why did you want to work with us? Like, can you please put that in there? I think we can help each other out and making a really strong collaboration.
I have no problem saying no. I have said no so many times to so many big deals. I'm not going to name the brand, but there was this brand who reached out to me for specifically mascara because I'm a mascara user, and people can see that. And they sent me the product. I was like, I want to use the product. They sent me the product. This bitch is not working. And I'm like, I keep putting on, like my lash. It's not a hard job for any mascara to put my lashes up. It's not doing it. I keep doing it. And I sent an email, and I was like, I am so sorry, but the product is not it. But that's just an example, but it happens so many times. If it's not working, I'm not gonna edit that. I'm not gonna make people think that it's working. If I used it only for 2 weeks and I did not see the results, I would say that it's not working yet. How long should I be using it? So I have said no so many times. However, when I'm working with a campaign, which is clearly an ad, I still do like the same thing that I do with my authentic post, which is like the same background that I have, the same lighting that I usually do, the same sort of outfits and hair and accessories that I have, because usually brands come with you with like, oh, please wear this kind of color, or please make sure that your background light is like this and that. I would just like talk back to them. I'm like, is it okay if I keep it the same way that my content usually is? They're like, yeah, that's fine, because I don't want it to be completely different from my authentic content. I don't want them to just scroll down and be like, oh, not this one, the next video. I don't want that. So saying no and keeping up with the like at least like trying to keep some metrics like going on with the authentic content, I think that's the key for me, and that's how I keep like the same engagement with my partnerships.
Let's talk about, I feel like there are a lot of like big brands in the audience as well as big agencies. I'd really love to talk about what brand you would like to partner with, or what kind of brand you'd like to partner with in the future, like dream brand. And if you don't want to answer that, you can talk about what you see in the future of this industry.
You're looking at me? All right, I guess I'll go first. Yeah, I mentioned earlier very briefly, but the most fun I've ever had doing a brand deal was with this brand deal I did with Old Spice, where I got to create a full-produced music video with them that like outperformed the original deal that got me that one that I did with them previously. And it was so much fun because I got to work with a full team, kind of like creative direct. I wrote the lyrics to it. You could go on YouTube, look at it now. It's called You Need Some Spice. It's really stupid, but in a good way. So yeah, being able to do things that kind of challenge me more in a creative sense in terms of production. Yeah, like I love being able to do things that feel a little bigger or harder, tougher. Yeah, it just gets the creative juices really flowing, and I love being able to collaborate with people on a creative level as well. So anybody would be interested in doing something like that.
My dream brand partnership is someone I think who is going to co-sign my passion for the content that I am making. I love series. I've said it a million times. I love experiences, like truly. And I have a series starting next week. It's going to be Traveling with Sabrina, where I'm going to go to the last 5 Sabrina Carpenter concerts. And I've already made 40 friendship bracelets that I'm going to pass out to my audience. And I have all my costumes like in this huge box. And I'm surprising Sabrina fans. And I'm just so passionate about it, and I'm so excited for like my audience to experience that with me. And so when I meet a brand who is like feeling the passion, like seeing the vision, it gets me fired up. Like I love what I do more than anything, and so I love passionate brands because I know everyone sitting here, you're passionate about what the experience that like you're hosting or the product that you're selling. And I think this is all of our biggest dreams, to be doing this for work, and I like love collaborations with a lot of passion, would be my answer.
I'm big in manifesting. So whatever brand I work with, like I manifested them once, and this is not, I'm not saying that just for saying that. And we were talking about this question backstage, and I was like, I don't think if there is any brand that I feel like, oh my God, did they reach out to me? No, I think they will reach out to me. And I am so sure of that. But there's some like partnerships that they're not in my niche. And last year I was thinking about it. I'm like, I would love to go to NASA for them to just invite me there to watch the launch. A month later, I got invited to NASA, and then I'm like watching the launch, and I'm like posting about it. Nobody believed that. I was like, I don't believe that either, but it's happening. So I feel like whatever I want, it will happen because I'm working so hard towards it already. Because if a brand cannot see that, then they must have some problem in their marketing team. I'm sorry, because I'm doing great, and I know that. But jokes aside, I think that. Now that we had like some talk about agencies too, I just want to say that because I think it would be a value for you all to know that. 3 years ago, when the size of my audience was not as big as it is today, I was kind of begging agencies to sign me up. I loved any agency to just take me in, to just like pitch me with brands and everything, but only because I think like I wasn't doing what I should have been doing. Nobody would accept me. No agencies or no manager was like signing me up, and I had to do everything on my own. I learned everything on how to pitch with brands, how to do outbound, inbound, how to talk, how to review contracts. I did everything myself without even having an assistant. And I learned it in a very hard way because it took me, first of all, so long, and second of all, there was nobody to teach me any of these. But now that I'm like big enough to just like do things on my own, and I learned, and I can actually have my own team, I have agencies coming in, and it just doesn't feel right. I'm like, well, the time that I was so ready to give away like even 50% of my deal just to have someone to pitch me, nobody was there. And now that I'm doing it, and I have like so many inbounds coming in, I have agencies coming in. Please pay attention to small creators when they're small. Pitch them, help them, and grow with them, because when they're big enough, when they did the hard job, it just doesn't feel right for them to just go with an agency that feels like they haven't done much for them. So small creators, I feel like they are having the biggest potentials in the industry. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that's all the time we have today.